Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Amelia. Amelia is the Italian and Spanish form of Emily, which is derived from the Latin name Emilia, a female version of the Old Roman family name Aemilius, probably from the Latin Emulus meaning rival. Although Amelia sounds similar to the Amelia, from the Germanic element amal meaning work, most etymologists believe the two are unrelated. Rather, Amelia is the Latinate, Italian and Spanish form of the English Emily, which is derived from the Roman gens Aemilius. Emily and Amelia have been around since medieval times, as evidenced by a few literary references. Amelia is the wife of Iago in William Shakespeare's Othello, and her name also appears as a minor character in his A Winter's Tale. The name Amelia also appears in a 14th century Italian allegory tale, the Decameron, written by Giovanni Boccaccio. See literary references below for more information. Amelia is also the spelling used in Scandinavian countries, as well as by the Finnish and some Slavs. Amelia is a name that does remarkably well on the European stage. It is a high-ranking female name in Poland, Austria, and Sweden. It also does quite well in England, Scotland, Ireland, and Hungary. Among Spanish speakers, Amelia is highly ranked in Chile. Personality of the girl name Amelia. The number 4 personality is marked by stability and discipline. This is the personality that follows the rules and is conservative by nature. They have an earthbound energy that prefers to build things methodically on top of firm foundations. They don't cut corners. 4s take their time and don't like to be hurried. But the outcome of their endeavors is likely to result in some strong and useful structure, which makes them great engineers and inventors. 4s are anything but frivolous or controversial. This is a trustworthy, straightforward personality that embodies dedication and organization. They are the backbone and anchor in their relationships, careers, and communities. They are tidy, punctual, and full of integrity. Hard work comes naturally to a 4, and they are immensely reliable. This is the personality you can always count on. Popularity of the girl name Amelia. Amelia has had an interesting usage career in the United States. We know the name dates back to at least 1880, the first year the U.S. government began tracking naming trends. At the end of the 19th century, through the first few decades of the 20th century, Amelia was a name ranked with low to low moderate usage. In other words, not a very popular name, but definitely in use, probably mainly by Italian Americans. In 1943, the name completely disappeared from the charts, retreating into the shadows and barely used at all. This trend remained for almost 50 years until Amelia reappeared in the early 1990s. Since that time, Amelia has shown increased popularity as the years have persisted into the 21st century. Right now, Amelia is at the height of her popularity, although still only used with mild moderation. No doubt this resurged interest has a lot to do with the popularity of her English counterpart Emily. It's our understanding that the Italians pronounce Amelia with 3 syllables, Emilia, but English speakers often use a 4-syllable rendition of Amelia. Amelia does jazz up Emily a bit. It's a classic with cosmopolitan chic. A lot of people feel that Amelia and Amelia are interchangeable when in fact, as mentioned above, they come from different sources. We like the rivalry etymology of Amelia, gives her a nice competitive quality, a good trait to have in this modern world. Nicknames such as Emmy, and Emma are timeless, simple, and lovely. An all-around gorgeous name. Quick facts on Amelia. Gender, girl. Origin, Italian. Number of syllables, 3. Ranking popularity, 208. Pronunciation, Aemilia, Amelia. Simple meaning, rival. Characteristics of Amelia. Studious, practical, solid, dependable, conservative, industrious, hardworking. Cultural references to the baby name Amelia. Literary characters of the baby name Amelia. Amelia Lanier, 1569–1645, is thought by some scholars to be the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's sonnets. Orphaned as a teenager, she became the mistress of the patron of Shakespeare's theatre company and was subsequently married to a court musician. She was a familiar face, and a dark and pretty one, in the court of Elizabeth I. It is thought that she and Shakespeare had an affair around 1597, when he was in a vulnerable state of grief over the death of his only son. The bard appears to have suffered some guilt over the issue, as well as having put himself in the embarrassing position of sharing Amelia with a younger man, William Herbert, whom he also immortalized in the sonnets. Whether or not she is ever proven to be the Dark Lady, Amelia claims fame on her own terms. She was one of the first women in England to publish a book of poetry, which has been referred to as very supportive of women and critical of their treatment at the hands of men. She also ran a school, supported her grandchildren, and lived to be 76 years old, no mean feat in those days. So let's hear it for Ms. Lanier, fair or dark, lady or not. Amelia is one of the narrators in Giovanni Boccaccio's The Decameron, composed between 1349 and 1353, the series of 100 stories told in sets of 10 by 10 Florentine narrators who are hoping to escape the Black Death by quarantining themselves in a church. The lovely and alluring Amelia, whose stories concern the dichotomy between sin and repression, is a narcissist of the first order. Her finest pastime is looking into the mirror at her own beauty reflected back at her. As if that weren't bad enough, Amelia also seems to condone violence against women, as evidenced in one of her stories. We'll give her a little bit of a break, however, and assume that she might just have had a little fever. Amelia is the wife of the villain, Iago, in William Shakespeare's tragedy, Othello, written around 1603. She is a virtuous and beautiful attendant to Desdemona. Although a relatively minor character in the play, she is in on all the larger-than-life activities, and everyone pays a high price for it. Although loyal to her friend Desdemona, Amelia also is afraid of her husband, and agrees to conspire in the theft of the handkerchief, which will serve to implicate Desdemona in adultery. This single act results in the death of her friend. This is not an act she can reverse, but she can, and does, expose Iago and return honor to Desdemona's name. Her own consequences are just as severe. Iago kills her in his rage, but she goes to her own death with pride and honor restored. Famous people named Amelia. Emilia Pardo Baza N., Spanish author, Emilia Lanier, English poet, Emilia Fox, English actress.